So I called my mom at her office, and she wasn't there, and the lady on the phone sounded really serious, and she was like, "You need to call your mom's cell phone." My mom answered, and she told me, that Adam and the 4 youngest kids on the way to school had died in a car accident. And I couldn't walk. Like, I just fell to the floor, and I think at that moment, like, everything that I knew about myself prior to that changed instantly. Walk with me, Susie Lee, in the darkness by the Dead Sea. Look at it lively and speak though it's frightening. Look at it lively and speak though it's frightening. Being in a split home, I was raised with 2 ideologies. One, my mom and my stepfather were really strong Christians, and we were in church all the time, really involved. And at my dad's house, we went to the bar. So that was the more fun road to me, and where I chose to go as a teenager. And when I was 18, I had moved out of my parents' house and was living at my dad's because I could do whatever I wanted. I dabbled in like a lot of drugs, and I didn't think I had to live like the Bible. I thought it was pretty much irrelevant, and I could do what I wanted. I know it's dusty, call upon me, receive some mercy. You'll be debt free. There are times when we keep our minds weak. There are times when we keep our minds weak. It was about 4 years after the accident that I ended up in a dark, just lost place. I had nowhere else to go. I had some friends that did some rotten things to me, and I had to go home. My dad was starting to get a bad addiction, and so I was afraid I'd walk in on him dead, so I decided to just leave that all behind and gave in. I quit smoking weed and all this, and just decided, okay, I'm just gonna live with my mom. I have no other choice. So I'm living with my mom for, I'd say, about 9 months. And of course she made me go to church, and I had to, and there was this prophet healer guy at our church, and I had told my grandparents, I was like, okay, y'all should go, because they were kind of ill a little bit, but the day of the service, my mom was like, are you coming? And I was like, no, I'm not gonna come. I was really hungover. And she was like, you told your grandparents you would go, and so you need to go. So if she hadn't have said that, I wouldn't have went, and I ended up going that night. And the service felt like no other service I'd ever sat in before. When I was in the room in the church, I felt the presence of God so heavy. It was like this thick atmosphere that just engulfed me, and I couldn't do anything but cry. I was just crying from the start of church, and I wasn't even like looking at this guy, and he walks up and he starts calling me out of the audience. And at the time, I had been getting into music after the accident happened and stuff, and I was starting to do things I had never done, create and stuff like that. And he told me, go create something dynamic. And he's like, please don't be normal. And it was just like he was speaking directly about me. And I'm like, this guy would not know these things. Like, and I don't go to church regularly for anyone else to know me either. I had always hung out with musicians. There was a draw I had with music. I would actually write songs when I was a little girl with my sister, and I don't know, it was just always just right there, this creativity. Bravery, yes. Bravery, yes. Bravery, the service, my pastor made an altar call, and I went down to the altar, and as I was standing there, they were, laying hands on people. And before they got to me, the pastor, I heard a voice tell me that heaven is real and your family's alive. And it was the answer I had been seeking for years. I didn't know if my family disappeared and went nowhere. And it was debilitating. And I didn't know that God would say something like that to me. And I knew that it was God. It was like I heard it in my soul. It wasn't in my mind, and I wasn't expecting to hear it. It just came out of nowhere. And as I heard it, it was like I was electrocuted and fell backwards on the ground. And I'm just wailing. Like it's like the pain from the loss was coming out. I knew that He had healed my heart from the loss of that. And it was as if the accident never happened, even though I know that it did. I had lived a long time, about 4 years, thinking that life wouldn't be good anymore because they weren't here. And I just accepted it, and that's what I had, this deep thing. I never told anybody that, but that's just how I felt. And that feeling is gone. I never felt it again. I haven't felt it since. That radically opened my eyes to the fact that God was real, and He does miracles, because to me that's a miracle. Bravery, yes. Bravery, yes. Bravery, yes. Bravery, don't be sorry. You never owe me. Receive some mercy. Call upon me. I know your mind's weak. Call upon me. I know your mind's weak. Call upon me. There is nothing like living for God. There's nothing like it. And because I knew how bad it was before, I was able to really appreciate how good my life was now. And even the color of things brightened. Like I had just darkness on my eyes, and everything just had a haze to it. Just nothing was beautiful. But I have so much more life now than I've ever had. It's amazing.